Have you ever observed slight shifts in a relative? Minor things you dismissed as simply getting older? A reduced appetite, a spell of disorientation, an abrupt onset of weariness? What if these weren't merely indicators of advancing age, but something more significant? Aging is a steady progression, but as the body approaches its final phase, it begins issuing subtle alerts. These are not striking or plain to see, they emerge discreetly. Far too often, families overlook these indicators until it's too late to get ready, too late to make their concluding months genuinely significant. Today we are revealing 5 faint clues that frequently manifest in the last year of life. If you've observed any of these in a relative, comprehending them now might assist you in offering superior support, treasuring every moment, and guaranteeing their final times are characterized by ease and respect. Have you ever witnessed a relative experiencing unexplained alterations? Let's explore together what they could signify. Indicator number 1, unexpected weight reduction beyond just aging. Michael, an energetic 78-year-old, had always been recognized for his enjoyment of food. Weekend family gatherings were his highlight. His plate was invariably heaped, and he consistently accepted dessert. However, over several months, a transformation occurred. His previously well-fitting cardigan began to drape loosely on his frame. His belt required tightening to a new hole, and his plate, once approached with gusto, was now habitually left half-eaten. His relatives presumed it was merely an element of growing older. Perhaps his metabolic rate is decreasing, they speculated. But the reality is this: considerable involuntary weight reduction is not just a standard aspect of aging. It frequently serves as a crucial warning that the body is facing challenges that aren't always apparent. What is truly occurring? As we get older, digestion naturally decelerates, but pronounced weight loss points to something considerably more grave. Muscle deterioration. The body starts metabolizing muscle tissue to make up for missing nutrients, resulting in debility and frailty. Metabolic adjustment. The body might be utilizing energy less effectively, or having trouble processing food altogether. Undetected health issues. Conditions such as cancer, cardiac insufficiency, chronic renal disease, and progressed dementia frequently cause unexplained weight loss. Diminished appetite. In life's concluding phases, the body gives precedence to vital operations, occasionally suppressing hunger entirely. Why is this significant? Losing weight involuntarily affects more than just looks. It influences strength, immunity, and even mental capacity. Frailty elevates the danger of falls. An individual who once moved with ease might suddenly have trouble with equilibrium or become exhausted from simple actions. A compromised immune defense results in recurrent infections. Minor ailments like common colds or urinary tract infections turn more perilous.
Breaking news.
Reduced energy can result in social withdrawal. Someone who formerly took pleasure in excursions or chats might begin to retreat simply due to feeling excessively weak. What steps can you take? The essential thing is to notice the change promptly and implement modifications. Don't disregard the indicators. If a relative sheds over 5% of their body mass in several months, arrange a consultation with a physician. Emphasize nutrient-rich foods. Instead of substantial meals, provide small servings of high-protein, high-calorie selections like eggs, yogurt, or avocado. Simplify eating. Tender foods and broths can be easier on the digestive system if chewing or swallowing becomes challenging. Promote fluid intake. Lack of hydration can diminish appetite and aggravate tiredness. Offer electrolyte beverages or fruit with substantial water content. Establish a comforting mealtime setting. Gentle music, dining together, or utilizing cherished dishware can aid in reviving the pleasure of eating. Final reflection. Many families suppose weight loss is simply a consequence of slowing down with age. However, the fact is, a healthy body doesn't shed pounds without cause. If you observe this occurring, don't delay. Take action immediately. The sooner you identify the clues, the more effectively you can bolster your relative's health and dignity during their concluding years. Indicator number 2, profound tiredness. A distinct form of exhaustion. Envision waking up feeling equally drained as when you retired to bed. Daylight streams through the window coverings. A new day starts. But rather than rising effortlessly, even raising your arms seems arduous. Elementary activities. Walking to the kitchen, combing your hair, engaging in conversation, feel akin to scaling a peak. This isn't merely feeling slightly weary. This is intense, system-wide exhaustion, the type that doesn't dissipate with repose. What is truly occurring? Tiredness in the final phase of life isn't solely about needing additional sleep. It represents a biological transformation. The body is decelerating, allocating its residual energy to vital operations. The heart circulates blood less effectively. Due to diminished blood flow, muscles and organs lack sufficient oxygen, rendering movement and even contemplation more taxing. The immune function is impaired. Combating minor infections or even digesting meals consumes energy the body can no longer spare. Metabolism decelerates significantly. Calories are not converted as readily, leading to reduced energy levels despite food consumption. Muscle depletion aggravates the exhaustion. As muscle volume shrinks, even standing or maintaining an upright posture can seem insurmountable. The emotional impact. This extreme tiredness affects not just the physical self, it influences one's sense of self and autonomy. Picture someone formerly active who enjoyed gardening, preparing meals, or interacting socially, now feeling too feeble to engage in the activities that affirm their identity. They might experience frustration, embarrassment, or even sadness regarding their diminished energy. They could withdraw from social engagements, not from indifference, but because even conversing is depleting. Relatives might misread their exhaustion as indolence or absence of drive, when in truth their body is simply operating on limited reserves. How to offer support. Rather than urging them to remain active or persevere through it, the optimal approach is to respect their fluctuating energy states. First, allow them to dictate the rhythm. If a walk is too taxing, propose sitting outdoors or near a window instead. Second, simplify routine chores. Think about lightweight eating implements, easy-on footwear, or supportive chairs to lessen physical exertion. Third, advocate for small meals and hydration. Dehydration intensifies tiredness, and high-protein, high-calorie nourishment can help maintain their energy. Fourth, cultivate a tranquil setting. Intense lighting, loud sounds, and excessive activity can be taxing. A serene, hushed area can alleviate unease. Fifth, permit rest without imposing guilt. If they require increased daytime sleep, accommodate them. Their body understands its requirements. Final reflection. When vitality diminishes, compelling someone to persist is not the solution. Providing them tranquility and solace is. Instead of dwelling on their limitations, concentrate on rendering their remaining moments as pleasant and significant as achievable. Indicator number 3. Disorientation and social retreat, when the surroundings feel altered. Elizabeth had consistently been mentally acute, the type of individual who never missed a birthday and could recount tales from years past with striking clarity. But one evening, while arranging the table for the evening meal, she stopped, grasping a utensil with a perplexed expression. Elizabeth, Vo, what was I engaged in? Initially, her family dismissed it lightheartedly. Everyone experiences memory lapses occasionally, but then she began forgetting more frequently. A week afterward, she embarked on her customary afternoon stroll, but halted partway, uncertain of the route back home. The following month, she started becoming withdrawn, replying to inquiries with merely a head movement, opting for silence over participating in discussions. Her daughter observed she hardly engaged with her needlework, an activity she formerly cherished. It surpassed simple forgetfulness. It signified something more profound. Why does this manifest? Disorientation and social retreat in a senior's final year are frequently misidentified as typical aging, but they actually indicate deeper physiological and cerebral shifts. As blood flow decreases, less oxygen is delivered to the brain, impairing memory, judgment, and even basic communication. Third, establish a serene atmosphere. Loud sounds and bustling environments can be disorienting, so maintain a peaceful space. Fourth, remain patient during quiet periods. Even without a response, your nearness provides solace, a different manner of parting. When someone begins to withdraw, it can seem as though they are receding before they have fully departed. And in numerous aspects, this is true. Yet even if their responses differ from before, they continue to perceive affection, clasp their hand, play their cherished melody, sit with them in silent fellowship. These minor actions hold more significance than you might grasp, because even as their words diminish, their heart still acknowledges the affection surrounding them. Indicator number 4, recurrent infections and delayed healing. Robert consistently recovered swiftly from colds, a bit of rest, some hot tea, and he'd be well within days. But the previous winter unfolded differently. A slight cough persisted for weeks. His standard vitality waned, and he increased his time resting. His family believed it was merely another common illness until pneumonia necessitated his hospitalization. Why does this occur? As the body matures, the immune defenses weaken, complicating the fight against infections and recovery from minor injuries. What appears as a trivial ailment can rapidly escalate into something grave. Misconception: it's only a cold, insignificant. Fact: a basic cold can become perilous when the body lacks the resilience to combat it. First point, impaired immune function. The body generates fewer leukocytes, the primary defenders against microbes and viruses. Second point, protracted healing. Reduced blood flow results in less oxygen and nourishment reaching injuries, causing even minor lacerations to take extended periods or fail to mend completely. Third point, concealed infections. Unlike younger individuals, seniors don't invariably exhibit distinct infection indicators. A urinary tract infection might not induce discomfort, but instead cause abrupt disorientation. Pneumonia might not present with elevated temperature, merely a typical tiredness or weakness. Frequent warning indicators of infections in seniors: abrupt disorientation or confusion, a typical sign of urinary tract infections or sepsis. Profound tiredness unrelieved by rest. Injuries or lesions that resist healing, or skin that bruises readily. Unaccounted for chills, perspiration, or enduring low-grade temperature elevation. What measures can you implement? Proactive prevention surpasses reactive treatment. While preventing every infection is impossible, minimizing risks through minor yet potent actions is feasible. First, remain watchful for faint symptoms. Disorientation, appetite loss, or sudden weakness could be the sole indication of an infection. Do not overlook these alterations. Second, maintain skin integrity. Dry, fragile skin is susceptible to fissures and lesions, which risk infection. Apply moisturizer daily and inspect for lacerations or irritation, particularly for those confined to bed. Third, assist them in staying warm. Impaired circulation renders seniors more susceptible to sickness. Guarantee they are dressed warmly, even inside, and utilize blankets if necessary. Fourth, advocate for hydration. Dehydration compromises immune function. Provide small amounts of water, herbal infusions, or electrolyte beverages consistently. Fifth, curtail exposure to pathogens. Promote frequent hand cleansing and sanitize frequently touched items like doorknobs and telephones. A reorientation of priorities. When an elderly relative begins facing frequent infections and delayed healing, the emphasis frequently transitions from assertive therapies to comfort and prevention. Rather than solely addressing illness, the objective shifts to safeguarding their health before complications develop. Families might feel powerless observing a relative become ill more frequently, but minor acts of attentiveness, ensuring warmth, maintaining hydration, and detecting symptoms early can significantly impact the situation. Because in the final stage of life, the focus isn't merely on curing disease, it's about upholding dignity, comfort, and the quality of existence. Indicator number 5. Alterations in respiration and circulation. The setting is tranquil. You are seated beside your relative, observing their chest move up and down slowly, erratically. Their respirations are shallower, occasionally halting for what seems an extended duration before restarting. Their hands, previously warm and robust, now feel cool. Their formerly healthy skin tone diminishes to a grayish or mottled appearance. These are not merely signs of advancing age. These represent the body's concluding modifications, a normal progression as it conserves energy and readies for its ultimate passage. What transpires within the body? As the body decelerates, the heart and lungs function less efficiently. The body gives precedence only to the most crucial systems, channeling oxygen and blood flow to the brain and heart while restricting circulation to the limbs. First, diminished cardiac performance. The heart, unable to pump as vigorously, struggles to supply oxygen throughout the body. This results in cold extremities, pale or bluish skin, and diminished energy. Second, inconsistent breathing rhythms. The respiratory mechanism slows, causing breaths to become shallower and more intermittent. It might appear as though your relative pauses breathing for extended intervals before taking another faint inhalation. Third, changes in skin appearance. A bluish or purplish tinge, particularly on the hands, feet, and lips, indicates reduced oxygen transport. The skin might also look mottled, displaying uneven patches of discoloration. Identifying varied breathing rhythms, shallow, effortful breathing. The lungs find it difficult to draw deep breaths, leading to rapid, faint inhalations. Pauses between breaths, known as Cheney-Stokes respiration. This involves alternating periods of deep, fast breathing and moments of cessation. This is prevalent in the final days or hours. A death rattle sound. This happens when secretions accumulate in the throat due to a weakened swallowing reflex. Although potentially alarming to relatives, it typically does not cause distress to the individual. How to offer comfort during this period? Upon observing these alterations, panic is unnecessary. These indicators do not signify pain, but rather the body's inherent process of slowing down. Your function now is to foster comfort, tranquility, and dignity for your relative. First, maintain a calm setting. Dim bright lights and minimize sounds. Soft, subdued lighting can foster a peaceful atmosphere. Play soft ambient music or nature sounds, as auditory perception often lingers last. The sensation of touch persists strongly, and perceiving your presence can provide immense comfort. Moisten their lips using a damp cloth or ice slivers if they appear parched. Refrain from insisting on fluids, as swallowing might become challenging. If they appreciate specific aromas, use a diffuser with lavender or other soothing essential oils. The most potent offering, your presence. At this juncture, words might become superfluous. Your relative might not react, but they can still sense your nearness. Merely sitting with them, clasping their hand or gently stroking their brow can provide more solace than any pharmaceutical. This is a period designated for peace. The emphasis shifts from medical procedures to guaranteeing dignity, calmness, and affection. The final exhalation might arrive slowly, softly, resembling a candle flame wavering before extinguishing. Though profoundly sorrowful, it is also a hallowed instant, a passage from one state of being to another. When respiration slows and speech ceases, presence emerges as the ultimate gift you can bestow. Aging isn't solely about deterioration, it concerns transition. It involves redirecting our focus from resisting time to valuing the moments that genuinely hold significance. Identifying these indicators isn't rooted in apprehension, it's about readiness, about understanding when to concentrate not on prolonging life regardless of cost, but on securing comfort, dignity, and tranquility. When a relative approaches their final phase, it constitutes not merely a physiological event, but an emotional passage for all participants. By comprehending these clues, you can provide what they require most, not just attention, but nearness, not just therapy, but affection. So now I pose this to you. Which of these indicators have you observed in someone dear to you? And what single action will you take differently having viewed this? Express your reflections below. Because occasionally the supreme method of loving someone is merely to be present, completely engaged in their concluding chapter.